Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read through for Kubera, Season 2, chapters 34, 35, and 36, maybe 37, I don't really know yet. So we're going into the Test of the Sword, and it's 7 parts, so I'm going to split that into 3 chapters and 4 chapters, and I don't know whether I'm just sitting down to record right now, so I don't know whether I'm going to do 3 this week and 4 next week, or 4 this week and 3 next week. I haven't really decided. So I guess we'll see if these 3 are pretty long or pretty short. If they are kind of on the longer side, I'll just save doing 4 for next week because it is like midnight when I'm recording this, so I'm running really late. So yeah, we'll see as we go along. Either way, I will continue to do it as I've been doing it, where we're going to read the chapter and then the afterword for each, because I think that the extra insight, just hearing more from the author, from Kurigam, I feel like it adds a lot for me. I really like it. I enjoy doing that. So I'm going to keep up with that, and I don't think there's anything else I want to say before we continue going, other than thank you all for watching as you usually do. Thank you for all of your comments. They're really amazing. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you all before we get into it. I feel weird. I'm like, usually you have YouTubers at the beginning of their videos doing the whole e-begging, like, comment, subscribe stuff, but here I'm doing the opposite, being like, oh, thank you, now let's get into doing it. I really know that it helps to do the whole, like, oh, like, call to action stuff, the like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I know it helps to do that at the beginning of videos, but the cringe is too strong for me. I can't bring myself to do it for whatever reason. I can't do all of my, like, patron member stuff. I can't do all of that at the beginning, so it has to go at the end. So either way, let's just continue on and start reading this week. We have, as the opening of the temple approached, the red sky started to fade. They say the red sky becomes completely yellow during the test of the sword and turns back red when it's over. Okay, just taking this all in. An easy-to-read summary of Vivadi Kubera. I'm working on the magic called Vivadi Kubera with the book I borrowed from the temple library. So, the red sky starts to fade and it comes back when the test is over. Okay, so since it's this way, not the opposite way, for a second I was going to interject and say, oh, if the sky turns red during the test, that means that Marina could show up and prepare one of the red sky attacks, and people wouldn't even know it would be happening because the sky's already red. But no, that's not what it's going to be. If anything, it's going to be, okay, the sky is yellow, and then maybe the sky turns red, and it's like, oh, do people think the test is over, but really it's an attack? Or, yeah, is that how they're going to shock us with Marina showing up or whatever to do something? Then I read about half of the book, and it doesn't seem as difficult as I thought. Asha's reading books like The Biology of Shura and Shura's in Puberty all day long, and sometimes when Claude would come to visit her, she pretends to be not in her room with the door closed. If he comes in before she closes the door, she uses Hotivayu. I guess she doesn't want to see his face at all. I heard that Claude is the priest in Rentalo. He may be a priest, but I really don't want to show him any respect. I really don't want to show any respect to him after what he's done to me. I don't understand what he's doing here. I heard that he's not even interested in the test of the sword. He did apologize for casting the spell on me, but I can't cut him any slack when it was a killing spell. Since I have one more chance to ask him a question, I'm thinking of asking some kind of tricky question for him to answer. It seems that Ron has been meeting the fighters who came to participate in the test of the sword, but I have no idea what he's doing when he meets them. He said that he's going to take the test for fun. Seeing him donating so much money to the temple just for fun, I really don't get the rich. And Judah. He would usually sit by my side, but for some reason I didn't see him this morning. Man, this was a really good intro. I like that scene a lot. I don't know, it feels a little bit different. It feels kind of cinematic in a way. We see what all the characters are doing, and it builds the perfect amount of hype where, like, I'm kind of hyped for Lee's learning, whatever Ron's doing with taking the test and donating to the temple, Yuta not being around because he's doing something. Like, all of that, I feel like, just makes me excited. And also, like, wrapping up some stuff from the last section of chapters. So Season 2, Chapter 34, The Test of the Sword, Part 1. We have Yuta walking through the forest. Asha said that she'll be in front of the temple around lunchtime, so I need to finish hunting and go back before then. It wouldn't take so long if I can just hunt, but eat only the ones that try to attack you. Ah, he thinks back. I lowered my transcendental value enough so that other Shuras could think that I'm a prey. Hope this works. Anyone please attack me. Please, I'm starving. Move aside. And then we have a pow. Sorry. I'm practicing for the test, but I can't control the direction well. If we're, are we actually... I thought we were going to be getting into the temple and the sword stuff here, but it seems like we're still, building up training for it for the various characters. So, gosh, it's really cool. If we do get into it, it's going to be so cool to see these various different characters that we've been dealing with for... we're 34 chapters in to the season. We've been dealing with them for dozens of chapters, seeing them all come together for the test. And for the sword, which is something that we've been going at since maybe even the first half, late into the first half of season 1. It feels really climactic. I'm practicing for the test, but I can't control the direction well. It is a kind of attack, but... By the way, what are you doing here? The checkpoint to the city is all the way around that side. She's too small to feed my stomach. Moreover, she's a half. Gosh, I'm starving. I forget her name. The whole time I've been reading this next little panel bit, I've been trying to think of it. I remember her in the scenes we've seen her in, but I don't remember her name. It's on the tip of my brain. Are you going to the Temple of Chaos? Well, the test of the sword will begin soon. But the temple isn't officially open yet, so you can't get in unless you're accompanied with a high-ranking magician. She keeps chattering by herself. She reminds me of Lise. Who's Lise? Oops, did I say that out loud instead of thinking? But wait, how can she understand me? This is cool. That, we see somebody who finally understands him. Is this that surprising? You thought I wouldn't be able to hear you, right? It's a rare skill even among halves, and it's difficult when it's not even so useful. I see. So, even though she's a half, or he, I'm not sure, I think she, they can hear, Shura speech. And then, oh well, I suppose it makes sense since Mr. Cossack was able to do it too. Yeah, Cossack could also understand him. So I wonder if it's just a rare skill that happens... I wonder what the circumstances are. Is it just random? Does it happen depending on how thick your Shura blood is? Because half is just anything over 50. So you could be a half at 75 or whatever. Does that have something to do with it? Or is it depending on who your parent is? Or maybe just certain, tribes have it more commonly than others? Because we see the ears have markings on them here with this character. There's something else I was going to say, but I totally forgot it when I was reading through this. Okay. I'm a magician who's staying at the Chaos Temple. I'm out here just for a walk, so I can go back in with that magician. Just for a walk? Shuras may appear out here. Well, I know that the Temple of Chaos is a bit stuffy and unpleasant. By the way, I can only hear, but you can even talk like a Shura. That's amazing. I heard that Mr. Cossack's the only half on our planet who can speak in Shura. Did you learn it by yourself, by any chance? Yeah, it just happened, somehow. That's awesome. Then, can you teach me how to do it? I'll pay as much as I can for it. I saved some good money, and I have a couple of God-class items that the Union Master gave me, so they're kind of somewhat rich. I'll teach you next time we meet. I have some things to do right now. Okay, I'm going to the temple when the test of the sword begins, so I'll see you then. My name is Elwyn Rakan. Okay, Elwyn. Gotta try to get that memorized. I'm Yuta. Yup, Yuta. You're older than me, right? You look at least twice my age. Uh-huh. Then, Yuta, don't act like a stranger to me when we meet again, okay? By the way, don't go that way. And they point to what looks kind of like a bamboo thicket. I saw a couple of Shuras of Ananta tribe there. They seem to be Upani level, by judging from their size. They're very dangerous, so I wonder if that's part of, Sagara's forces. So go this way, or the best thing for you is to go back to the temple. If they're just like, much like they did with Atera, if they're gathering around some of the weaker Upani level Shuras just around the perimeter before they go to do whatever they're doing here. So go this way, or the best thing for you is to go back to the temple. Then they walk off the path. Yuta smiles and goes toward the bamboo thicket. And then N16, month of... I keep forgetting to ask when my birth time was so that I can see what my Kubera stats would be. But we have N16, month of chaos. Schedule for the test of the sword. First month, 1 through 12, first test registration. Month 13, month 14 through 24, and then month 25, or first month 25. In case of applicant overflow for the first test, applications will be accepted on a first-come, first-served basis. Okay, so that's the... Okay. I think I get it. You register for the first test on months 1 through 2. Like, the way it's written is kind of weird to me. Like, since it's first month at the beginning. But... Oh, it's all taking place in the first month. You can register, so you can take the entire test all within a month. And this is neat. So this segment here is called the Test of the Sword, but the Test of the Sword is actually probably going to last a lot longer, since we have registration up until the 13th, and then we're going to have the first test, but then we have another from the 14th to 24th period where our characters are just going to be like, some crazy stuff might happen from the first test, but even then after that we're going to have a period of rest where our characters are doing stuff before the second test comes around. In case of applicant overflow for the first test, applications will be accepted on a first come first served basis, and then we have the fees for each of them. What's the first test and what's the second? They divided the test into two to prevent the test from overflowing with people. But if someone from the... Okay, so never mind. It's not like a stage where you have to take the first test in order to take the second test. Instead, the second test is just in case nobody in the first succeeds. Okay, but if somebody from the first test succeeds in pulling the sword out, the second test won't even be held. So it's better for you to register for the first test if you can. I see, but don't you need to study for the test or do some kind of preparation? You don't need to. The tests are the types that cannot be mastered by cramming, and there's no secret of any kind to pass the test. So, the only part of the test which may benefit from practicing in advance is the nerve test. But the way the test changes, I guess. But the way the test changes every year. Okay, never mind. It is the way they test, as in they test you. Okay. But the way they test changes every year. So you can't really prepare for it unless you find out what the test will be beforehand. You don't need magic to take the test, right? Of course not. They wouldn't make you use magic in a place where calculation can be disturbed. Well then, it's a relief, whatever the test may be. And then, oh, Asha, Yuta. And Yuta looks surprised and then smiles nervously. Oh, you look great. Did you eat something nice or something? Cut the crap. Have you been practicing the transcendental skills? Don't tell me that you were just wasting your time. Gosh, Asha, you keep saying the same thing about those transcendental skills. But do you have any idea how hard it is to learn without a teacher? I think it'd be better to learn magic instead of wasting all that time. And then we see the easy-to-read summary of Bhavati Kubera she's been reading. So you mean you were only reading the book about Bhavati Kubera? Huh. No, Asha. I mean, I really did try hard to do as you say, but no matter how much I think about it, this is more... I'm changing the conditions of the bet. What? Learn Bhavati Kubera instead of the transcendental skills. So, keep reading it and try to master it. She smiles. Whoa, thanks, Asha. Yay, I only have to learn this. Poor her. I guess she only read the beginning of the book. Should I tell her? No, that'll put me at a disadvantage. So him saying that makes me think there's going to be some really difficult stuff. And since Ron knows what it is, he could tell her about the difficult stuff, but him telling her about it would put him at a disadvantage because he could be helping her figure out how to do it. As Lise keeps reading the book, she's in despair when she reaches chapter 7. And now we see the following subjects are omitted in chapter 7. Intermediate level topology, university level physics, and university level astronomy. Please complete the lessons on them before you proceed. And at last, the test of the sword began. We see a bunch of people gathered at the temple. To be continued. That was a really, really, really good chapter. I loved that one a lot. Like, I think the first scene was really fun and really well written, and just overall, we're continuing to build these characters, and the hype going into the test for me is like really well built. They did a really good job at building what the different characters were doing and learning how the test works, and making us excited for all of these characters, even the ones that might not be competing in the test. Characters are going to be around, like Teo and Gandharva, because of the connection with the temple and everything. They're going to be around even if they're not competing. Plus, we have a bunch of characters we know competing. And it's exciting, because how is this test going to work? Is it going to be like a full-on tournament arc type thing? Is it going to be a test just like in the AAA rank Magician flashback? Where we're only just going to see an actual strict test? It feels like it would be more the former, maybe, because we're being tested to see if you're worthy of the sword, if you can potentially take the sword, right? I think. So yeah, I'll have to see. We'll go on to next chapter, but first let's see what the afterword has to tell us. Yudon the Shura path. The scene following this will be edited out. It must be edited out. If he was a Shura that looked like a Shura, at least his eating wouldn't look as bad. But the problem is his partial human form, right? And then Lisa's funny face. She's gingerly trying to seek revenge by asking him a difficult question. Isn't she being too generous for a person that almost killed her? But she wouldn't be as generous if the person created problems for her friends. She would become decidedly angry. Sometimes she gets so angry that she looks like a second year in middle school, but that's part of her personality. Then Elwyn and Yuta. If you don't eat little Elwyn and you let her go, she'll tell you where the big Shuras are. It's like a quest. I just saw some of the comments and I really laughed out loud when somebody wrote, Elwyn Rakan wrote a post about a new delicious restaurant. And now we have Lise and Ron looking at the schedule. Within the temple, they would formally say the date as the month of chaos, from the day of chaos until the day of death. But if I write it like that, readers will have difficulty understanding it. Plus, in Willarv, they don't use January and February. For now, I'll just say that they wrote it the way they did for the temporary visitors for the test. So, that's actually a fun little thing that sometimes you'll see it in video games. Like, if the video game world has this script that's made up for the game, I guess Pokemon would be a good example. You walk up to a sign in like one of the more modern Pokemon games or whatever, and the script isn't actually like any real life writing, but when you walk up they just show a translated for you version above it. And this is a similar thing, where it's not that the language is different, but it's that they would write things as in the month of chaos, day of death. Things like that is how they would naturally write things. But for us as readers, it has to be translated into a way that's easier for readers to understand. And it's like, but then you run into the problem, but why would they write it like that in universe? So you have to make up the excuse of they're just writing it that way for visitors to make it easier for them. Even though even that doesn't entirely make sense in universe. But I love that Kurigama is thinking about stuff like that, and just giving those kinds of thoughts in these afterwards I think is really fun. Now on to episode 35. I keep having to try my best to remember. I'm like, okay, I need to switch the chapter over to the next one. I need to switch the afterword over to the next one. I need to switch my number up here for the episode. I keep trying my best not to forget all of it between chapters. So we're starting off with this shot of the temple with all the crowd. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are in the Fighters Union must have seen my face many times. I am Teo Rakan. I would like to welcome all of you to the opening of the Temple of Chaos, along with the Test of the Sword in the new year of N16. Okay, so we're going into a new year here. We have Teo Rakan, quarter, age 49, president, sorry, I was about to just yell MILF. But really 29 means she's like 24 and a half, right? So she's actually like super young. Then Fighters ranking number 2, Magic rank A+, Magic ranking number 9, Priestess of Chaos. Then, as always, so many of you applied for the test this year. As the priestess, I am very glad. She steps on the hem of her dress. We hear a rip. It's been too long since I wore this kind of dress, so I'm not used to it. The crowd laughs. That's the president of the Fighters Union and the priestess of Chaos? Wow, she's amazing, but I can't see her clearly since we're too far away from her. Applicant number 98, Lee Hyas. Is it supposed to be Lee's Hyas? They might have left out a letter. Age 17. Real name Kubera Lees. No ranking information. Then we have scribbling. Applicant number 99, Yuta, age triple question mark. Participating as a half. No ranking information. She looks like this, and he draws a picture. Wow, I've never seen your drawing before, Yuta. Whoa, look at that. That pretty much looks like her. Pretty much. I freaking love Ron. Excuse me. No, it's... Is he going to get freaked out because it's a half? And he struggles for a bit. There. Were you scared of that half, Ron? With smug Lees. Hey, applicant number 97, Ron Syrafe. Quarter, age 37. Magic rank double B, double A to B. And then, once recognized to be talented enough to win first place in the Children's Fighter Championship. That is a hilarious name for a tournament. The Children's Fighter Championship. But after developing a phobia of halves since the upheaval, he gave up on becoming a fighter where there are so many halves. Hey Chicky, keep acting up and I will... You promised not to call me Chicky anymore. You didn't listen to me and went out, so I take it back. And the two of them are just slap fighting with each other. Number 100. What a nice round number. Huh? You're in as well, Asha. I thought you were only here as a sponsor. It's better than to just watch without doing anything. Applicant number 100, Asha Rahiro, age 21. Magic ranking A++. Magic ranking number 5. No fighter ranking, known as a typical pure-blood magician. I'm sure you're all aware of it, but I'll explain it anyway, since it's a part of the program. I wonder then if there's a trade-off, since we know that halves can't use magic but can use transcendental skills instead, is there a trade-off where quarters get to live longer and thus get to have longer careers? And again, maybe being part Shura makes them better as fighters. Maybe pureblood humans aren't as good as fighters because they have shorter lifespans and they might not get some sort of buff from being part Shura. Whereas pureblood magicians, is it possible that they're better at magic than quarters generally? It's just that they don't live as long? Like, I think that would make sense. That's kind of a trade-off of, like, you're a regular human, you don't get Shura buffs, but you get to be better at magic because of it. And then, I'm sure you're all... Or it could work the opposite way, and you're weaker at magic than your typical quarter, in which case there is no good reason to be a pureblood human in the Kubera world. I'm sure you're all aware of it, but I'll explain it anyway since it's a part of the program. The reason not to give everyone a chance to approach the sword and selecting the ones through the test is for the sake of the temple's security. The moment the passage to the Sword of Return is opened, all security systems must be turned off, so we're trying to minimize the danger by limiting the number of people approaching the sword through the test. For the test of the sword, we analyzed in detail the profiles of the former owners of the sword, and based on their common ground, the cutoff point is set, and we see there's been at least 3 that I can tell, and probably up to 3 more from the silhouettes in the background. And based off their common ground, the cutoff point is set. This year, I arranged the test however I wanted, so that it can be more tricky. Boo, that's mean. You, who just booed me, come see me later. We have a gasp and then laughing. Well now, let the test of the sword begin. We have everyone cheering. Season 2, chapter... This felt like a while before our splash. I love the little like info cards, basically, the little info drops for all of the characters in our main group participating. I think that was really fun. And then Season 2, Chapter 35, Test of the Sword 2. Then, the Test of Strength, breaking pine boards made from the tree of Elof Mountain. You must break through at least 20 pine boards with one barehanded strike. Then, we see a 14. 14, you fail. I just slipped a bit. Could you give me another chance? No, I can't. Come back for the second test. I heard the strength test was the same every year, but it's a bit different this year. Yes, it seems the other participants are also startled. Punching like this requires some tricks. Oh well, if you're strong enough, you'll be able to break 20 boards regardless of the way you hit it, so it doesn't matter, does it? It's the ones who are not strong enough that need to use tricks. And I love this face we've seen before from Ron. Yuta, look at this. This is the board they use for the test. They say it's wood, but it's as hard as rock. Here, touch it. And then it just breaks in half easily. Asha, this is the... I know, you keep it. Applicant number 97, Ron Syrafe. Please come forward. Oh, it's finally my turn. I'm next. I love little chibi Lees. I love when we get the chibi art in Kubera. Ron Syrafe? Is he a AA candidate? Yes, that's him. I heard he doesn't like being around halves, but he's in a place where there are so many halves. I guess it's gotten better. So this is something that everyone just knows. By the way, isn't he just a magician? I thought he has nothing to do with fighters. And he just like gently punches. I knew it. Magicians don't even know the basics. How could he punch like that? He just wasted his money for the test. And then a slice goes through it, essentially. We see a 94. Everyone's shocked. And I guess that's just his, no, that's not his entry number. So I guess the 94 is how many pieces of wood he can get through? Gosh, what the, he broke over 90. Applicant number 97, Ron Syrafe, has passed the first test. I wouldn't be able to do that even if I use Hoti Kubera. How could he do it barehanded? Jeez, what the, I should have tried harder. Now that I think about it, he has a Yaksha quarter. The Yaksha tribe is originally strong. Didn't you see a Yaksha half earlier who broke 70 boards? How can a quarter be stronger than a half? Ron, you're not a weakling anymore, huh? I was never a weakling. Since when was my image a weakling? You won't beat my record anyway. Watch me. I'm gonna wipe out all 100 of them, says Lees. Then we have beeping. Huh? Item usage has been detected. Using items to reinforce your strength is against the rules. Huh? Wait, this item's functions to suppress my strength. So if I don't have this on, I won't be able to use even my normal strength. We can't tell if it's your normal strength or the effect of the item, so you have to take the test in a way that the effect of the item isn't detected at all. Pardon? Phew, it's finally over. The others will take care of the rest, and we have Teo. So I wonder if Teo's going to hear a loud commotion and noise where she releases the limiter from the bracelet, so I am assuming it'll be detected if it's in use, even if the use is suppressing her strength. So what she has to do is release the limit, release the use, and then she'll probably just do a massive extreme punch or something. Because Lee's was already monstrously strong, but now she's been like held back by the bracelet for so long in the story that she can probably, like, she's probably even way stronger now. Fortunately, my dress was able to be fixed, since there was a restoration magician there. But this is so embarrassing. A long dress, high heels, I can't do this anymore. Why can't a priestess wear armor for an official event? They keep tradition for some weird part. Gosh, this is so awkward. Lipstick tastes nasty, and my fake eyelashes feel like something got stuck in my eye. She's wiping her face. Now you look like a priestess in that dress. She turns. But you don't look so good if you hold up your dress like that. And then she drops it back down, embarrassed. I was just checking if my dress was ripped because I stepped on it earlier. And then she steps again and rips again. Then we have Chibi, his face. More embarrassed. That's so cute. More embarrassed Teo. That's so funny. And we have little Gintarva here. That's adorable. Going back through, hold on, let me find it really quick. Going back through last week, there was this one panel that I really, really loved. I got back to it. I was like, okay, this panel's amazing. It was here. Hopefully it's not anything that I shouldn't be showing, but I love the, he's fine with eating vegetables. The face there is so cute. Teo too. And I love, like I mentioned down there, crazy rich, since we learned like earlier in the series, about how expensive and pricey the sauce is, how much sauce she's dumping on her food. But yeah, I thought that panel was adorable going back through last week. Now back for the afterward, it's Lise and Ron playfully scuffling. Lise doesn't turn on the bracelet when she fights, and Ron doesn't attack Lise unless she turns off the bracelet. So there can be a fight scene like this between them. But if Lise turns on the bracelet, or Ron seriously fights her, there'd be a huge problem. And then this was a small April Fool's Day spectacular, wasn't it? Fighter silhouettes. The Sword of Return has had many owners, and it always returns to the spot when returns to its spot when the owner dies. I thought that I already explained around episode 42. I think there are a lot of people who think that the sword has never been pulled, so I had to mention it. And then the back view of Ron's braids. Ron doesn't look like himself with his long hair. There have been scenes where we see the long hair tucked away behind him, and people often mistake it as short. But who's braiding Ron's hair? Ron usually braids his own hair. He doesn't let anyone else braid it unless he really trusts them. Then Teo on stage. It doesn't matter whether or not you put on makeup. The only difference is in your lips and eyelashes. On high-resolution screens, people can see everything on the actors' faces, including blemishes and pores. But we don't draw things like that on webtoon characters. Again, funny as always. And let's go, I guess, to the next chapter. Both of the last two were fairly long for me, so, I'll do 4 next week probably. I'll probably stop after this one unless this one's like uncharacteristically short. So either way, let's do episode 36. We start with Ron here. Nice. Let's see if you're strong enough to call me a weakling. Oh, this is bad. If I'm not strong at all, or I'm not strong at all if I don't have this bracelet turned on. She'll be just fine. Will she be okay? And then she punches, and it starts cracking. Her fist sinks into them even. She gets 51. Applicant number 98. You've passed the first test. Never mind. Not what I was expecting, or what I thought was going to go on. Oh my gosh. A girl broke 51? Probably a half. Is she? But she doesn't look like a half at all. Maybe she's a Yaksha tribe quarter? I boasted to Ron, but I only got 51. I want to hide. If I'm a weakling, then what are you? It's because I've become weaker than usual. Normally, I would get much more, and then his face, it's so good. And this running away, look at his little feet. I love the art in Kubera. It's the best. Like, as much as I love Tower of God, as much as I love ORV, and ORV is like next level when it comes to like detail and like crazy high quality stuff, my favorite art personally is probably Kubera's. I love the chibi cartoonish stuff that it does. If anything, my only complaint is that I wish the panels were a bit larger, because like I love this shot of Ron, but it's like such a little square where there's all this empty white space, and the same goes here. I love the art, I just kind of wish the panels were a little larger. Stop right there. I said stop. Gosh, you're even slow, you little chickie. Jeez, we have Snatch. Don't grab my hair, that's cheating. Cheating, I said. Now Yuda's looking on silently. And I thought we were going into a flashback with that fade. But Test of the Sword Part 3. Applicant number 99, Yuda, please come forward. Huh? Go, Yuda, let go of my hair. I'm sure you can get over 20. He nods. Looks over and touches, and he's doing a viol. Even from just touching it, it starts cracking. 47. Applicant number 99, you've passed the first test. Is that boy a half as well? He's not bad for a young kid. Huh? When did he hit it? I didn't even see him hit it. Wow, 47. Good job, Yuda. And he looks down, blushing. You held it back too much. Lise is acting up again. Asha's up now. Go, Asha. She's cheering. Never mind. I get it. Applicant number 100, Asha Rahiro, please come forward. Isn't that... It's Asha. It's Asha, right? What's Asha doing here? You think she'll manage to break even one of them? Then she punches. Applicant number 100, you've passed the first test. And we have 20 exactly, which I feel like has to be calculated. Oh god, like I thought Yudo was calculating his strength to hold it back. But this is even more calculated. Oh gosh, she passed. Isn't she just a pureblood or a typical pureblood magician? What's more, she's a woman. You male fighters who failed should be ashamed of yourselves. Did she work as a fighter before? Not at all. She is a magician to the core. I've never seen her exercise. She never works out, not even running. Then how could she be so strong? Hey, Asha. The cutoff line's only 20, and you barely made it, huh? I got 94, you know. Showing off your strength unnecessarily is what immature kids usually do. The shot. That's so funny. I saw Ron shutting his mouth with just one sentence. I had just a bit of a problem because of the bracelet at the test of strength, but the nerve test that they said would be hard because it changed every year was actually easier than I thought. The test was about hitting only the red balls without getting hit by the blue balls. You lose 1 point if you get hit by a blue ball, and earn 10 points if you hit a red ball. It was so easy that I even felt it was boring. Applicant number 98, you've passed the second test. That was so easy. I'd be able to do it even while sleeping. I wouldn't be able to even take this test if I closed my eyes, I guess. My score is still higher than yours by 1 point. I couldn't help it. A red ball was heading right here, and a blue ball was coming straight to me when I had to hit the red ball. I can't just give up on the red ball just to dodge the blue one, right? That is smart, because, you know, why give up 10 points to avoid losing one? It would have missed me only if I was a little bit slimmer. These lumps of fat were never useful in my life. Pfft. And then Rana would get mad if she heard this. Ron's so funny. Again, the Kubera grab. And then, anyway, that's how my second test went, and Yuta passed it. Yuta passed it, getting 98 points without any problems. This battle is so good. He's just standing there with blue balls bouncing off of him. He lost 2 points just before the test ended. I think he just got hit by them on purpose, because those balls didn't look hard to dodge at all. That's such a funny panel. And then his smile. Asha scored 90 points. She lost 10 points because the ball slightly hit her fur cloak. Although the test advisor said that it would be a disadvantage for her if she kept the cloak on, but she just took the test wearing it. Hey, Asha? Yes? Do you secretly work out while no one's watching? Why would I work out secretly? So you don't exercise at all? Then how could you score a 90? You're not even a half nor a quarter, right? Moreover, you're even wearing that fur cloak. I guess for you, this is something that cannot be done without any exercising. Ron's fire face. Asha's attitude is so funny. It's just analyzing the flying balls and dodging with the minimal amount of movement. Figures. Your body suffers when you're stupid. Look at the three of them. It's so good. It seems that Asha's talented in shutting Ron's mouth. Now, we have... Is that a person? Up at the corner there? This is an expensive dress. I don't know why it rips so easily. I think it's because you're too strong, Teo. Thank you for lending me your coat on the way back. By the way, I've never seen this one before. Did you buy it yourself? Yes, I felt bad to always borrow your clothes. Oh well, I suppose the money you earned from working till now is more than enough to pay you back for your treatment. Now that you've paid all your debts to me, everything will be solved once your memory comes back, but I guess you're stuck there, right? That's right. I'm stuck. By the way, why aren't you participating in the test of the sword? I haven't registered it for you. I'm not interested in such a thing. Why? Is there any reason that I should participate? Oh, well, not really. Just because I thought you'd be bored. Geez, I even added a new test on purpose, she thinks, to distinguish what he is for sure. Interesting. Test of Divine Transcendental. Your divine affinity or transcendental value must exceed 500. And we see everyone looking on. But specifically, we're seeing Asha and Yuta, actually. This is interesting to note because Asha's case is really special and weird and different, and Yuta is trying to hide the fact that he is like a straight up kind of powerful Shura. We had decided not to test on this since divine affinities or transcendental values of few former owners of the sword were not clear, but judging by the history of former owners of the swords, we've reached the conclusion that they were at least higher than 500. Therefore, we added a test to set the cut on 500 and to measure the divine affinity or transcendental value of all the participants. But I don't know how high 500 is. Even if Guntarva was tested, what if Guntarva was just some weird guy with amnesia that just happened to have higher than 500? What? Why would they do such a troublesome test? Then, since Yuta will definitely get a 0 for divine affinity, he'll have to measure his transcendental value. Now, does your transcendental value go over 10,000 like Mr. Cossack? He looks nervous. What do we do? It'll be so obvious of what he is if his transcendental value is exposed. This test would also ban item usage, right? For sure. Is Lee still not back from the restroom? We need to come up with a good idea before she comes. And then she's coming back with what looks like cotton candy, and we end there. That's funny, but that was a little on the shorter side. Do I want to read one more? I want to, but it is kind of late. You know what? I'll do it. Let me do one more, because I don't want to stop reading. I'll do 139, but first let's read the afterword. So then, for the afterword, we have Lee's complaining about her useless lumps of fat. An absurd remark by Lee's Hayas, 17, female. It's true from Lisa's point of view, but it's nonetheless an absurd remark. Now that it's the year N16, someone suggested that I adjust the ages on the blog profiles by 1 year. I will only make changes if I'm adding something. They're already written as the age in year N15 to avoid confusion. Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So then you can just add on depending on what year the story is currently in, instead of trying to be like, okay, well, if we change it to this age now, then we have to subtract to go back to what they were at the beginning of the series. I think that this is actually a better way to do it, to avoid confusion. Lee's chasing Ron. Ron's hairstyle's not suited for running away. He treasures his hair, so if it gets caught as he flees, he can't bear to cut it. So in order to prevent a situation like this, he has to hold on to his hair while running. Yuta's test of strength. The rules state that you have to use one bare-handed strike. Before you fret over whether this conforms to the rules, let's just say that it qualifies as a hit. There are many people who are taking the test, so the administrators aren't too picky about things like this. Then Asha's nerve test. The fur cloak is becoming something of a chrysalis, a bulky outer shell that restricts movement. I skipped the nerve test and showed only the results. If I had to draw the whole thing, the test would take up too much time and too many episodes. True, just an episode of all of them dodging balls and hitting the others. But yeah, with that aside, let's read one more. Okay, on to 37, and then next week I'll come back to do the 3 that finish off this section. And then I will withdraw from the test. Huh? Why would you withdraw when it's Yuta who has the problem? If I remeasure my divine affinity here, I only beat you based on magic test scores, but I haven't beaten you with my abilities. Frankly speaking, I don't think I can. What? Finish the sentence. If you measure it, then what? I just got tired of it. So would her divine affinity be down lower now? Lower than Ron's? So she would lose to him in both ways? I don't think I can draw the sword, even if I pass the rest of the tests anyway. Yeah, but it's not like I'm not participating to draw the sword either. Then what do we do about Yuta? And he starts writing. I give up as well. What? You'll give up? Give up on what? Yuta, take this cotton candy. It costs 1 silver coin for 2 of them. It's a little expensive, but there aren't many snacks to enjoy around here, so he looks terrified. And then Chapter 37, Test of the Sword, Part 4. Ron snatches it away and starts eating. Wow, it's been quite a while since I had snacks of commoners. That's for Yuta. You're rich, Ron. Go buy for yourself. It's better for me to eat this than Yuta. It's okay, Yuta. I have another one. This one was for me, but I'll give you mine. Nasha takes it. By its taste, this can't be good for your health. Dasha, even you don't even like sweets that much. Asha's face here is so good. But the money you used to buy this cotton candy, isn't it from the change you took from me, right? If you don't want to starve at dinner, don't talk back to me. I'm sorry, Yuta. I bought them for you, but the thought alone makes me happy, he writes. Really? Applicant number 95, please come forward. What? Both Asha and Yuta are withdrawing? Yes, we'll be waiting here, so go measure yours. All you need to do is put your hand on the rock over there and Juso di Kubera. The divine affinity of the Golden Knight are clearly revealed to others, so you can participate in this test even if your item usage is detected. The Golden Knight has a divine affinity of 2,250, so you just need to get over 2,750 to pass the test. Hey, that's not what I was talking about here. Why are you withdrawing? What's important is your test, Lise. Are you the only one who's participating You're the only one who's participating in the tests for the sword, not us. Well, is that so? But Yuta needs it too, right? I thought the sword was the reason he traveled all the way here to Calibloom. That was true, but things have changed. I don't need the sword anymore. I see. So I'm the only one who's taking the test? I feel lonely all of a sudden. Hey, I'm still taking the test. Don't treat me like I'm not here, says Ron. But the problem aroused, where no one could have expected. Hoti Kubera. And we see 2,250. And she's shocked. The divine affinity of the item is 2,250, which makes the divine affinity of the applicant number 98 a 0. What? No, hang on. A 0? It's not like I'm a half or anything. Even if you're not a half, it's very rare, but there are some quarters whose divine affinity is 0. In other words, they've got no magical talent at all. So if you wish to pass the third test, you need to measure your transcendental value over there. Excuse me, I'm not a quarter, I'm a pure... Is it because... So, do gods have transcendental value rather than divine affinity? Despite the name seeming otherwise. Is it because she has, like, the power of a god that she has transcendental value instead of divine affinity? I was thinking maybe she would have none, and all of her power would come from relying on the bracelet and the Kubera's name, but that might be a transcendental type thing. And then, there are many people waiting. Please move away. What? Lise is not done yet. Is there some problem? What? 0? Oh my gosh. Then, wow, look at all that trace of blood. What a mess. Did all 3 of them die here? Yes, it's here. All 3 of them were killed around this area. For the details, I got to see. Hold on for a sec. Are these maybe the 3 that Yuta ate? I mean, we don't know that he ate 3 specifically, but since 3 went missing, we can assume maybe that that's what happened. So it's interesting to note that's Ryagara, right, with really large arms. So I guess her arms are the part that she can't change, and then Pingara looks like he has a tail that he can't change. And then they killed 3 5th level Upanis at once. Amazing. Were humans this powerful? What if that city called Calibloom or whatever is way more strong than we thought? Oh, maybe the reason we're not getting any news from Gantarva could also be it wasn't a human. Huh? I freaking love Huda. It was Ashura. Ashura ate them. It has huge wings. Marna then? That bastard, why would he eat 3 when 1 would have been enough? No, I don't think it was Marna. This was done by someone that's mostly black, and then she looks horrified. The others react. It's not like this is your first time seeing ones for your tribe being eaten. Why are you crying? All three of them were still alive when they were being eaten. Huda's face. I can't see it clearly, but seeing that they're wriggling till the end, I'm sure they were eaten alive. And while one of them was being eaten, the other two were tied up and watching it. It's horrible. What the hell? It's common sense that you kill your prey first when you hunt. It's not only difficult to eat, but it's also not like there's a benefit to eating them alive. Maybe he wasn't hunting for his vigor, seeing that he killed all three when one would have been enough. Is it because Yuda's half god that he has to do it this way? Or was it not him? I don't know who did this, but he surely knows how to enjoy hunting. He'd be a star if he joined the Ashura tribe. Hurrah! Why, we Ashuras normally eat our prey alive. Have some respect for personal preference, would you? Is the culprit an Ashura? An Ashura who's powerful enough to kill 3 5th level Upanis at once? And one that's mostly black, with wings. Guys, why are you looking at me like that? No, I may be a bit too naughty, but I wouldn't eat an Ananta when we're allying with them. What's more, 5th level Upanis who'd be much helpful in our fights. You don't think that I'd do something like that unless I'm here as a spy or something. It wouldn't be strange at all if you were here as a spy. What? Wait, I don't think it's Huda. It's much bigger, and it even has a tail. See, it's not me. The cute little chibi version. Oh my god, I love it. Then could it be the half-dragon we saw in Atera? There is a chance that it could be him, but when we saw him in Atera, he was eating only those that were already dead, and I've never heard of dragons having such barbarous tastes. Ryagara, what do we do now? For sure, there's a powerful enemy we didn't expect. We'll be safe as long as we warn the others and stay together. But the problem is Sagara. She already went to the Temple of Chaos all by herself. I keep forgetting, so Sagara's already there. What the heck? Okay, well, that is it for the chapter. Really what the heck ending. I'm really intrigued by all of that. I really hope we get to learn more soon, but I like the deepening mystery. All the character stuff is great. Kubera has one of the best casts of characters ever. I really love all of them. Like, from our main group to the Shura group, I really like the Shura group too, and I really want to see more of them, because I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of, like, Pingara, Ryagara, Clofe and Cloche, Hura. We've seen a little bit, but I would really love to see even more of them, to let them be more distinct, let them stand out more on their own. Especially, I guess, Cloche. Like, Clofe has had, like, a lot more than Cloche, unless I'm getting the two of them mixed up. And then Pingara hasn't had a ton, but Ryagara's had a good little bit, but it's been a while since we had some, like, real deep Ryagara stuff. So I would really like to see more of all of them. And then Hura, I just absolutely love. Hura's one of my favorites. But yeah, with all of that aside, let's read the afterword for this one, then we can end the video out. We start with the afterword, Cloche thumbnail. Even though they're all 4th stage, Cloche has a more youthful face compared to Ryagara and Pingara. You could say that Ryagara and Pingara look older. And then, wait, so Cloche thumbnail. Never mind. I was thinking Clofe was the girl with the pigtails and yellow. So I might have gotten Clofe and Cloche mixed up there. And then Lee's offering cotton candy to Yuta. We may think sweet food's tasty, but Yuta doesn't feel the same way, especially considering what his favorite food is. Test administrator with Lee's under the effect of Hoti Kubera. In the Define Affinity test, if you use a magic attack like Hoti Agni, the spell's nullified by the magic defense system. If that wasn't the case, wouldn't the test area become dangerous? But a spell like Hoti Kubera, which is non-offensive magic, is not nullified. And now we have the Rakshasa Gathering. It could also be, because Lise has Kubera's name, so maybe the effect of a human calling on Hoti Kubera is the human channeling the ability of the god through magic. So maybe that's why it counts as divine affinity, but because she has the name, I wonder if she can't use magic from the other gods. And she just has no divine affinity for the other gods' magic at all. But when she uses magic from Kubera, since she has the power of the name of Kubera, she isn't channeling God Kubera's power, but really she's doing the actual Kubera magic through her own power, so it counts as transcendental. I'm thinking maybe that might be it. And then we have Rakshasa Gathering. When they appear together, Clofé always looks sullen. He was like, okay, so yeah, Clofé is the one that hasn't gotten much time. Cloche's gotten more time. Yellow, Cloche, isn't Cloche like Belle? So try to remember it that way. And then episodes 67, 85, and this one as well. He's the only one who isn't speaking out of all 5 characters. This is because Clofé doesn't speak when he could be heard by other Shuras other than Cloche. If you think that Clofé's a silent character, you'd be surprised when he becomes chatty when he's alone with Cloche. But even when he's noisy like that, he soon becomes reticent when others join in, and at the same time he appears less often, so instead Cloche often speaks for Clofé. Okay, and that's actually it for the afterword. So that's where we end for this video. Gonna be a bit of a long one. It's like 1 a.m. Gonna go edit now and try to get this up for all of you. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapters, my thoughts and reaction and all that. Subscribe for more Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it is free and open for anyone. If you would like to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that's appreciated. If you would like to help support the channel and also get your name at the end of every video, get One Piece videos a little bit early, then hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to anyone who's already a patron or channel member. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, Efranono, Abyss Knight, J.A., and the D-Van, Cheriton Students, David Lang, Stephen Volded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pate Ardial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.